The woman who spoke to you earlier, Alexandra, who came from your future. I'm from your past, very far in your past. I'm the ghost of your past. Who I am is of no consequence. What I have to tell you, however, is of great consequence at a time when America is on the brink of national apocalypse. You may believe you are living in the year 2010, but it is actually the year 1775. History has come full circle, and the people who once drank deeply the refreshing waters of liberty and prosperity are now discovering the wellspring is going dry. And their throats are growing parched under the scorching heat of an oppressive government, ironically, the very government established to liberate them from the oppression of the British Empire. I know what some of you must be thinking, but surely, sir, the government of King George III was far more tyrannical than the federal government of the United States. In many ways it was. In other ways, however, the present federal government, in terms of its sheer size, its scope of power, and its abuse of authority, would have terrified the King of Great Britain. The recent history of the United States government is a history of repeated injuries and unconstitutional usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over the individual states and the people. I need only direct your attention to 4 examples to illustrate my point. It has prohibited the states from enacting their own laws and regulations while compelling them to submit to federal laws and regulations that violate the 10th Amendment of the Constitution. It has created myriad unconstitutional bureaucracies staffed with legions of federal workers whose compensation is contributing to the bankruptcy of the National Treasury. It has imposed a confiscatory structure of income taxes on only half the population, while appropriating funds on a multi-trillion-dollar scale for entities and individuals not constitutionally authorized to receive them, including approximately half the population that pays no income taxes whatsoever. It has imposed upon the people an utterly unconstitutional system of federally controlled health care, purposely crafted to destroy the private healthcare industry and supplant it with a single-payer system that compels the people to purchase medical insurance under penalty of law. I could go on, but I think I've made my point. The Crown levied only consumption taxes, and they were not nearly as burdensome or confiscatory as yours. We likewise labored under arbitrary and oppressive laws, but never to the degree of intrusion and control over everyday existence manifested by the federal government today. On the other hand, we literally had British bayonets at our collective throat. Agents of the Crown suspended our own legislatures, incited the Indian savages to attack us, plundered our seas, ravaged our coasts, burned our towns, and destroyed the lives of our people. On countless occasions, God knows we tried so desperately to reconcile our differences with our British brethren, but our pleas and protests fell upon deaf ears. In much the same manner, your own pleas and protests have been ignored by your own Congress. On March 23rd, 1775, my good friend Patrick proclaimed the time for pleading and supplication had drawn to a close. The time of irresolution had passed, and the necessity of action was upon us. He argued with great ingenuity and passion that if we truly desired freedom, we were obliged of necessity to fight for it. Patrick had faith in the power and providence of Almighty God and the resolution and ability of the people to secure the blessings of liberty for themselves and their posterity. Lend your ears and ask yourselves just how relevant my friend's words are today. It is in vain, sir, to extenuate the matter. Gentlemen may cry peace, peace, but there is no peace. The war has actually begun. The next gale sweeps from the north and will bring to our ears the clash of resounding arms. Our brethren are already in the field. Why stand we here idle? What is it the gentlemen wish? What would they have? Is life so dear, or peace so sweet, as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery? No! Forbid it, Almighty God! I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty, or give me death! Regulars, intent on disarming the colonists, marched on Concord to seize the armory of the Massachusetts militia. Resolved to live in liberty or die fighting to obtain it, we routed them at the North Bridge and chased them all the way back to Boston. Our war for independence had begun, and a year later, delegates to the Continental Congress did not hesitate to mutually pledge their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor in support of Mr. Jefferson's Declaration of Independence, which I consider the most eloquent cry for freedom ever penned by the hand of mortal man. Ponder for a moment the historical portent of this brief passage. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it, and to institute new government. Laying its foundation on such principles, and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Inspired by Mr. Jefferson's eloquence, we resolved to hazard everything upon that noble cause, and for 5 hellish years slog through the bloody mire of war to secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. When the Constitutional Convention announced the formation of a new government in 1787, the inestimable Dr. Franklin was asked precisely what sort of government they had given us. "A republic," he responded, "if you can keep it." If you can keep it. Well, here I am, and here you are. I've been summoned here by the dire nature of your circumstances and importuned to offer words of counsel and encouragement. I can tell you this much. Be grateful you still have the power of the ballot, but be certain you use it wisely, as it will be the only chance you may ever have of peacefully undoing the damage that has been inflicted on this republic.